Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about why it's not necessary to separate our training into strength blocks, hypertrophy blocks, any of this stuff. And I'm not saying you can't be successful doing it. I do not want people to think that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's maybe not the most efficient way. And it's something I saw even in my comments. Someone said, I've been doing all this strength training and I went over to bodybuilding style training and then I noticed my strength is down. And then when I looked at pictures, I even lost size. What's going on? I went back over to trying to do strength work, some of your novice programs. I'm like, well, you shouldn't even be doing that, brother. Shouldn't even be doing that. And you guys see just in this particular video, me doing different things from 4 of my workouts in a single week at the time this video was made, which might not be up for 5 or 6 months, who knows. But you guys can see I'm doing heavy singles, I'm doing sets of 10, I'm doing speed work against bands, all this other stuff, all in the same week. Okay. When you guys look at the way a lot of the best coaches out there promote stuff, especially any of the people who came out of Westside or the conjugate method or any of that, what do you always see? You see concurrent type training. And you see it consistently produce big, strong athletes with low injury rates. Okay? And what I'm saying here is it's not necessary to separate things into phases. And if anything, when you separate stuff into phases, your different performance elements detrain. Okay? In other words, if you're not doing any heavy lifting, your maximum strength is going to go down. It's going to go down and you're going to have to retrain it. Before long, people are like, oh, I've got a peak. I've got a peak for a meet. Got a peak for a competition. Well, maybe, or you could just stay pretty strong year round and then it's not that hard to peak. Okay? And you'll even see that when you look at the same sort of concept with even 531 type stuff that Windler does. And he did come out of Westside. That it's heavy, all-out sets, even though they're for reps, close to limit sets, done at the start of a workout, and then tons of pump volume. And you know what? It's a highly successful program for novices, intermediates, and some advanced lifters. It works very, very well on a simple 4-day rotation based upon 4 basic lifts. Okay, and it works. It works better than a lot of periodization programs. And everyone who does it gets jacked. And even Windler points that out with this stuff. Look, people need to get big. I need to get athletes big. We need to put muscle on them. Muscle is really the key. And then you need just enough strength work to get there. But how much do we really need? That's this whole idea that, we need tons and tons of strength work. Do we? Because I do 3, at least at this point, I may go to 4. 3 heavy lifts a week. 3 heavy lifts for training maxes. That's it. 3. And even Louis Simmons noted, and Winning and all these guys, you can dedicate 5 to 10% of your training every week to lifting really heavy. And you'll maximize your strength potential because you're not having to peak it all the time because you just do it year round. Okay? You do it year round. Then what's most of your training geared around? Hypertrophy. Volume work, pump work after the other stuff is done. Whether it's your explosive training, speed work, or your max effort training, or, if it's Windler style, your heavy plus sets, which are running 3-week waves. Everything else is hypertrophy. Why? Because size equals strength potential. You get thicker in the right places, you get stronger. And that applies to every sport. All this stuff works for every sport. You take his system, he works with football players. Right? He coaches football players all day long. It's like, just get bigger. Put muscle on them. Put muscle on them. Take the conjugate method, which is what I'm using here. Came out of Westside, it's what Winning, it's what all these Dave Tate, all these guys use. Joe DeFranco used it to get guys back in the day for years and years through the combine test for the NFL. It's been successfully used by tons of MMA fighters. Now, special forces in the military are using it under winning. It's a whole contract for that he's got. I do this system with basketball players, golfers, baseball, tennis. Because what are we doing on a system like this? Mostly 70% hypertrophy work. We then do conditioning GPP depending upon the needs of the person. But what are we doing? Like 5% of our training every week is geared towards max effort lifting or training maxes, heavy singles. About 25% is the explosive training you see here. The speed work. You see me doing in this against bands. Dynamic effort work, a lightweight, explosive, compensatory acceleration. What's the rest of it? Everything else is hypertrophy. It's not periodized. We focus on maximizing muscle mass year round. Okay. Ironically, what have you guys seen people like, what's his name? Dr. Mike Israel runs Renaissance Periodization. He's seen strength athletes at the end of a hypertrophy block suddenly have the best maxes. Why? Yeah, because they didn't quit gaining size. Every time you do a strength block and you cut your hypertrophy workout, if you lose muscle, your strength might go up a little bit by peaking, but you've lost muscle mass. So your strength potential goes down. Like, muscle mass is the key to everything. Everybody should be focused on gaining muscle year round, whether you're chasing health goals, you want to look better naked, you want to have better body composition and be able to lose body fat easier, focus on gaining muscle. We don't need to take hypertrophy training out of our training ever. I would argue that if you have a week to where you are not training for it, it's a big mistake. Even if you need to do deload weeks, you still need to keep some lightweight volume in there, right? You need to have some pump work. I take a lot of my people down to 40% of their maxes for sets of 10 on their big movements and call it a deload week. They're still doing some pump work in there. There's still some volume in there. You do not need to ever take hypertrophy work out. It's a real bad idea because we're always trying to gain muscle. And you don't need that much max strength work to maximize strength if you don't ever let it detrain. See where I'm going with this? And we can weave this stuff throughout a week in a way that recovery is balanced. It's just called good programming. It's called good programming. That's why we only do the maximum work twice a week. We only do it twice a week. That's your key. Stuff doesn't have to be broken into phases. It can be woven into the same training week. And it can work, and it can work very, very, very well. And then we're always focused on gaining muscle. We're always focused on maximizing strength and performance. All right, guys. So that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.